because I was like, this is too hurtful every time I open this to see this. If we're not going to hang out, if you're not going to confide in me or ask about my life, it's never going to happen, then this is not out of malice or hate or anger, but it's just hurtful.
Hey there, besties. Welcome to our cozy corner of the podcasting world. Thank you for pressing play and spending some time with me here on Share a Latte. I'm Min Sukri, your virtual coffee bestie, podcast orchestrator, master storyteller, and your caffeinated host. Picture us in a cozy cafe with the rich scent of freshly brewed coffee as we embark on a journey filled with inspiration. In each episode, remarkable women share their tales of overcoming life's hurdles, offering a comforting embrace for your spirit. These narratives serve as a reminder that resilience and unwavering determination pave the way to success. Join me each week for conversations that will stir your mind, warm your heart, and you'll unearthly own your own ability to transform challenges into remarkable strengths. The Share a Latte podcast sprinkles hope, courage, and the belief that you can not only handle life, but thrive throughout your day. All right, besties, let's embrace those tales of triumphs and get ready for another episode of Share a Latte. Hey there, latte and podcast lovers. Thanks for pressing play and joining me here on Share a Latte. Can I tell you what hurts so much more than a breakup with your boyfriend? It's the breakup with your bestie. Today, I'm joined by Kylee Robinson, who's ready to spill the beans on the highs and lows and the life-altering lessons from navigating the terrain of friendship breakups. Friendships really do shape us as a person, and when they end, sometimes we don't get all the answers. Just like the diverse flavors of your favorite cup, friendship breakups are unique, leaving a mark on personal growth. In the cozy ambiance of sharing stories and steaming mugs, Kylee and I are ready to unravel the vulnerability, maturity, and the bitterness journey of rebuilding connections. So grab your favorite coffee, find your favorite nook, and get ready for an amazing episode of Share a Latte, as we sip the complexities of friendship breakups and discover how these experiences can really shape who we are as a person. Thank you so much, guys, for joining back on Share a Latte. Kylee, I'm so excited to have you here. And truly, I believe as a woman, your Roman Empire is the breakups that you have in friendships. And they are so much more difficult when you throw like a family dynamic into the mix, and it's your husband and children and their friends are friends with your friend, or your kids are friends with each other. So, Kylee, you have a really interesting story. I had heard obviously a little bit about this offline. So we're gonna get you to kick us off and tell us a little bit about the friendship that you had built with this person.
Yeah. And mine goes all the way back to high school with my first exciting friend breakup. Let's relive some trauma here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So way back in high school, high school sucks for most people anyways. There's always something. Like most people don't want to go back and relive all of that. And I was determined it was going to be awesome. And it really was for a little while. And I had these two girlfriends who 7th, 8th, 9th grade. Now that doesn't seem like a long time, but my family moved a whole lot. So I didn't go from like kindergarten through high school in one location with one group of friends. We were all over the place, and we landed in one spot at 7th grade. And I finally made these friends. And then come sophomore year, everything started to change. Now, the extra dynamic I get to throw in there is that I was homeschooled, but in the state that we were in, I got to do all the extracurricular activities at the public high school. So I was on the volleyball team and the soccer team, and I did theater, and I was in all the at all the dances, and my whole friend group was still at the public school. I just went after school and showed up for all the fun parts. And so these two girlfriends that I had, actually, rumors started coming through guy friends that I had that they were spreading rumors around the public school about me. And I'm like, how am I getting so much screen time like at this school and I don't even attend here?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And what it really came down to is come sophomore year, I started to branch out a little bit and make a few more friends and do some things with some other people. In addition to these two girlfriends, they didn't like it. They didn't like
tale as old as
adding more people. Yeah. And it's like, I just thought we could have a plethora of friends, and apparently that's not how it goes.
No. Yeah.
And you know what? It really, all in all, it ended up being a good thing, right? Like, you're going to purge friendships, and you're going to grow from the situations that you're in. And something that I learned in this situation is that I'm very close with my parents, and I always have been. And so I was able to come back from volleyball practice and go, hey guys, here's what happened today, and I'm hurt, and there's raging hormones, and I don't know how to deal with it. And we got to hash this out. And one thing my dad said is that nobody can make you feel a certain way. You get to choose how you feel.
Ooh, I like that.
So that's something that I've always gone back to. And I got to learn that when I was 15 and 16 years old. So there was that. And then also learning how to confront really hard situations, because I could just soak up all that hurt and leave it there, or I could confront these girls. And that's what I did. And I rehearsed that confrontation with my parents to make sure it wasn't attacking or defensive. It was going to be an actual conversation. And it was interesting because I did it with each of them individually. And the one cried and admitted some things. And we both said, we can try to move forward, but it's not going to be the same as it was based on what you've done. And then the other one denied everything. Oof. And what I learned in that situation is you can't do anything with a liar. So when it comes to that, at that point, I know I did everything I could for this situation. I confronted it. I tried. If you're not going to move forward with me, then we're done.
Yeah.
And at least I did my part.
Those are some pretty formative years. And I feel like there's a lot of women who went through like similar, right? Like those, when they ask you not to be friends with somebody or expanding your friend group, nobody really likes change. And then adding people into the mix can be very difficult. Was it like one day that they decided to just stop talking to you? Did they confront you about the expansion of the friendship group?
Nope, never confronted me on any of it. I had some events that I was like, oh, let me invite these people too. And I feel like it was one day that I heard about rumors. And again, I wasn't even at the school to hear about them there, but there were these twin boys down the street that I was real close with. And they were like, hey, here's what's being said about you. And none of it was true. And I don't even know who was hearing it, whether it was even, they were just spreading it around to everybody who didn't even know who I was. But it just spiraled then. And I kept hearing from my guy friends what was going on. And the interesting thing is from there, I was just like, I just don't need girlfriends then. Like this, if this is how girls are going to be, I'm out.
So that's I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of the times when something like that happens, especially in those formative years, is that we as women are like, I don't want to deal with the gossip and I don't want to deal with, so we end up building more friendships with men because they don't do that sort of thing. We women laugh about all the time how like guys will punch each other out outside of a bar, but then 30 seconds later be in the same bar, drinking side by side, commenting about the game that's on, cheering for the same team.
It'd be so much easier.
Whereas that would I don't know two girls who are going to go outside, punch each other out, and then sit down again, and then not turn to their other girlfriend and be like, look at what Sarah did. Do you know what I mean? So I'm with you. I can totally agree. Like, I just wouldn't have girlfriends either. How much did that affect your future relationships moving forward? So did you just no longer build female friendships? Or were you like, I'm just not doing this anymore? I'm not going to go through that kind of gossipy heartache?
Just about. There were some girls I would hang with through the rest of high school, but it was at an arm's length. It was like, okay, there's a certain depth level that I will allow you to, and then we don't go past that. Otherwise, I'll go find someone else to hang out with who's going to keep me at this certain allow me to stay at this certain level, which worked for a while. But I got married really young. And so I was 20 years old when I got married and was like, I can't just go have lunch with a guy friend. That's just not going to be appropriate moving forward. Plus, I moved across the country. So it's not like I had this group of guys that I wanted to hang out with there. It was like we were building from scratch. So that was an interesting dynamic, just learning how to change those. And I thought, if we just do couple friends, then I can still keep everybody at this certain level that's going to work for me. Right. So it was very different. I had to learn how to navigate that. And then we moved across the country again. So we started over again. And really, when we moved again, we found some really quality couples that we did get close with. And I did allow those women in. And I think it's going to be trial and error and learning what you're willing to put up with and what your vulnerability level, and knowing that when you're vulnerable, you're opening yourself up to hurt, because I got hurt more.
Right. Okay. So let's go into that, because now you've graduated high school, you've moved across the country. You recognize that it's a little inappropriate to have just male friends and be married, and not in the fact that it's inappropriate, but you also want to respect your significant other, and he might not be okay with all of those dynamics, right? So you start building up this friendship with other couples.
Yeah.
So you get close to a couple. So is this on your second move?
Yeah. So I was in Pennsylvania. We moved to Texas when we first got married, and then we've been in Rhode Island. And the other interesting thing I learned, my dad was in the Marine Corps, so we moved a bunch every so many years. I learned how to make friends, and then I was always the one to leave. So I never stayed in one place like a really long time. Again, I didn't have friends from kindergarten through senior year or anything. I've been in Rhode Island for over 9 years now, and it feels weird. It feels like maybe things are just getting wonky here and we just need new people. Maybe we should just take off. Maybe we should just start fresh someplace. And I don't necessarily think that's the right thing, but it's what I've naturally had to do in the past. So it's maybe we should just start fresh.
Love it.
But yeah, we had some other couples once again, and these two gals, there was the three of us. We had a great time. We had certain things we would do throughout the year together during certain seasons. And then they both got pregnant at the same time. And it was their first child for each of them. Now, my husband and I had started the adoption process 3 or 4 months sooner. So we announced that we were adopting. Both of these women got pregnant. And I was thrilled for them. I truly was so excited. This is not going to change anything. And then it was the following summer after they'd had their babies and they're the same age, they were within weeks of each other, that I started not getting invited to things. And there'd be, hey, do you guys want to come over to my place? No, actually, we're just thinking we're going to stay in tonight alone. And then they'd post on social media that they were together. So, first off, stupid.
Well, right. I'm sorry. What? If you're going to say that you're staying in for a quiet night in, nobody's going to fault you for that. Cool, dude, do what you want to do. But then to rub it in your face, or at least just tell me you guys want to hang out with each other. That's cool too.
Yeah. That's fine. I tried to expand my group. You can too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so again, it's like that lying thing. It's if you're not going to be honest with me, I can't do anything with that. And so I kept seeing this over and over again. So finally I confronted both of them. I ran through my script with my husband. I was like, does this sound correct? Make sure I'm not coming across as attacking or anything.
Right.
And I was told that nothing was wrong on either occasion. That no, we've just been busy. It's just hard to get to your town. Just a lot's going on right now. But I keep seeing you hanging out with other friends and with each other and over again. And it got to the point where if you're not going to tell me that anything's wrong, that I haven't done anything to hurt you or offend you or anything, I finally just stopped following them on social media because I was like, this is too hurtful every time I open this to see this. If we're not going to hang out, if you're not going to confide in me or ask about my life, it's never going to happen. Then this is not out of malice or hate or anger, but it's just hurtful. So I'm just not going to subject myself to that ongoing.
So how long before like them stopping to invite you to stuff to you confronting them? Like how many, was it a couple of weeks? Was it a couple of months that this go on for?
Probably just a couple of months. Because I just thought maybe something's just off. Let me just keep inviting. Let me just keep trying. And maybe they really are just busy. And I've had friends like that too. I've had friends, in fact, this is something I tell people now. I had this girlfriend for so long and she would just say, I really am busy. Please keep inviting me. I don't want to say no to you, but I've got something going on. And so I've learned how comforting that was to me when she would say that. This has nothing to do with you. I truly have something going on. And so I've learned to say that to other people too. Please just keep inviting me.
Life takes over. It is very difficult sometimes to keep up with our friendships. I know that I have a standing girls' night on Thursdays with my girlfriends where we do fajitas and margaritas. And every time that I think about this girls' night, I keep telling myself, like, why are we doing this on a Thursday where Friday becomes a crap show for everybody? And we're struggling the next day. Ladies, why can't we get our crap together like every night? But for some reason, it's always easier. We all think it's a great idea until Friday morning rolls around and we're all like, that was dumb, ladies. So I'll do this again next week.
Yeah. You need a delayed start on Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Which never happens. But really, like, you do need those nights with your girlfriends where you connect. And so I don't remember now what I was talking about. Right out the window. That part will be cut out. What were you saying before that? We need to roll a clip. Where did I go with this?
Oh.
I'm a much better host, I promise. Don't know what's going on with me today.
I get it. Please. It's all right.
Okay.
You asked the time from confrontation.
Yeah, the time from confrontation. And then and then you getting invited. So the reason that we have this standing Thursday night is purely because we know that there's going to be a weeks on end where we won't do the Thursday nights at all, or there'll be only 2 girlfriends who can go on that Thursday rather than all 4 of us go, or all of us will get to go, but then the next 8 months we won't see each other. So you have to really build those, but they are very hard to implement in and very hard to see each other. And I'm the same. If my girlfriends are communicating with me that we can't see each other because life takes over, I totally get it. Life takes over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just being open and communicating.
But there was no indication even leading up to that. They just were like, this feels like a hot potato and I need to drop you.
Something like that. Yeah. No, that's how it felt. Yeah. And again, at this point, I had adopted my son, and he, in fact, these girls decorated my house when he got home. Like, they broke into my house and decorated. And then 4 months later, I'm cut out completely. So it was so bizarre. And in fact, I confronted it multiple times because a month or 2 would go by and I still was just like, something's just not right. Did I not confront that? Did I not ask the right question? Do I need to do this again? And so at least twice with each of them, and nothing. There's stuff like that, but you learn from it. Where do we go from here? How do we move forward?
So what does life look like now? So hold on, before we dive too deep into what life looks like now. So you had the friendships that you had as an adolescent, and you decided that, and you learned that I'm not doing this. I'm not going down the gossip hole with girls again, and I'll just build relationships with men, or I'll keep my female relationships at a distance. You then got married and then built what I'm assuming you let these women in a lot compared to what you had been doing, right? And how long were you guys friends for? Like a good couple of years, or?
Yeah. Probably a good 6-7 years.
Oh, so a while for sure.
Yeah.
So then during those 6-7 years, everything was fine. And then they had a baby. You were preparing for yours. They broke into your house. They decorated it for your son to come home to. Everything was still fine. And then one day, nothing. But any regrets?
I always go back to the vulnerability piece. I gave something away that I shouldn't have, and now this person has information on me that I'm uncomfortable with because now I don't know where it will go. Because now I don't trust you. I don't have a confidence in you that you're going to still hang on to that thing that not everybody deserves to have. That information of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're friends with somebody for that long, you think you know them. You think you've got an understanding. You think you have a level of friendship that you can have a fair confrontation with, that you can say whatever it might be. I truly am busy. We still love you. We still want to hang out with you. Things like that. But just know everything's fine, and there's nothing I can do with that. Now, I'll share on the other end. I've had a girlfriend for 4 years, maybe 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And we hit the ground running. We are very much like each other. We have kind of similar goals and vision for our life and work ethics and all these things. Our life stages are very different. We live about an hour apart, so that even makes it hard to get together. But she did something about 2 years ago. She told someone something about me that she should not have. And I took a deep breath and I called her and said, that was completely unacceptable. That was my information. You should not have done that. And she said, tell me how to fix it. I don't want to lose this friendship. What do I need to do to fix this? I'm deeply sorry.
I love stories like that, because this just brings you back to, this is why you have those friendships, right? Because somebody is hearing you out and trying to fix they don't want to lose you as a friend as much as you don't want to lose them. And you were comfortable enough to be able to go to her and say, this wasn't okay, and I need to talk through this with you, instead of her being like, your feelings are your feelings and ignoring it. That is pure growth, in my opinion. That is pure growth.
Yeah.
So these women obviously didn't say any of that. They pushed the entire situation aside.
Which then feels like, wow, our relationship wasn't important enough to you to fight for it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to you. I didn't have enough of an impact on you to stay friends, to want to communicate with and see each other.
Is that? I know that we get two different things. Like, time is a societal construct, and then time is so valuable. You can't have both, in my opinion, but time is very valuable, right? And you've thrown 6 years into these friendships, and you thought that, like, you were hopefully one day sitting on your porches telling other kids to get off your lawn with these women. I say that because I'm assuming that that's what I'll be doing one day. So aside from the vulnerability piece, though, like, what else did you learn from these friendship breakups? What does that look like now for you?
I think just seeking a level of maturity in people and how to discern that better. I don't know that I can give exact tips and tricks on how I do it.
Of course. I think
but there's a certain type of person I'm looking for to be friends with anymore. And the other thing is being very aware of one-way versus two-way friendships. Ooh. So there's friendships that sometimes you're called to, I think, for a season. And sometimes you just need to recognize and go, no, I need to get out of this because it's only going one way. And that's when you're just pouring into somebody else and they're not coming back with, what can I do for you? How can I help you? What's your life look like right now? How can I be there for you? That's a two-way friendship when it's going both directions. So being able to step back and recognize when you're in a one-way friendship and what it's doing in that season. Maybe someone's in a really rough patch and you really need to be there for them for a season, as long as you're not being taken advantage of. And I think that can be okay on occasion. But your closest people, the people who are going to be the ones you call when you're on the side of the road, those have to be those two-way friendships. You've got to have a handful of those in your life. And I will say the ones that I do have, I'm in Rhode Island. They live in North Carolina and Texas. My two best girlfriends, I Marco Polo them almost every day. We talk a ton, but we don't see each other very often. We're not able to get together all the time. I can't call them on the side of the road. They're going to be useless to me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're not worth having, because when I'm in crisis, those are the ones I contact. When my son and my husband are driving me bonkers, they're the ones I can go bitch to. And they get it.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's being able to recognize those and who's going to be in it for the long haul and the level of maturity in a person. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you comfortable in taking all of so is one of these women, one of them trying to connect the dots?
The other one that I confronted?
There we go. Thank you.
No.
Man.
No, that's weird. If I'm not using names, that's hard to get to.
I'm a much better host. I have no idea what's going on with me today. And how long have you guys been friends for?
Let's see. The one in Texas, I've actually known her since I was 4, 5. Somewhere right in there. Her family lived over on the block from ours in Texas. And the funny thing is that we were not best friends growing up. So she's actually my longest standing friend, except that we were like, you're convenient because you're around the block. And then we both moved and our moms were best friends. So we still hung out quite a bit. But then after we left Texas, we didn't really stay friends. We knew about each other because our families were still friends. And it wasn't until I moved back to Texas, having gotten married, that we were like, oh, you're not so bad. Like, we can do this. And then the funny thing is, she's the one who introduced me to the one in North Carolina.
Oh,
she said, hey, I have these friends who just got married. They were only 2 months ahead of us in their marriage. We were only in the same town for 6 months before me and my husband moved. And then I think it was a year later, they moved to North Carolina. And what's that? 9 years of friendship. And only 6 months of it was in the same state. And there's so much to be said for having community around you locally. I think you need that to an extent, but don't discount those people that are far away. Find ways to stay in touch with them if that's really who your people are. The ones in North Carolina are my son's guardians.
Oh.
after
Oh.
us. That's the level of relationship that's there.
So have you been friends with the couple in North Carolina for the same length of, obviously, sorry, not the same length of time,
For about 9 years.
for about 9 years? And
Mm-hmm.
how quickly did that friendship blossom? Did that take a while? And
No, we just
did this go on
hit it off.
before the craziness happened? And then,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So they happened in between the high school crazy and the adult crazy. They were right in the middle there.
Ah.
These relationships
that must have been helpful though, to help you, because before the adult crazy happened, that would be really helpful for you to understand the dynamic of other women and building up those female friendships again.
Yeah,
And
knowing what it could and should look like. Thinking you had that in these other people, and then suddenly realizing that you don't.
yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
What any tips to, other than leaving the no I hold on, let me get my notes. I'm telling you,
It's
this
okay.
is not, I don't know what's happening with me today.
Listen, it makes us all feel human. It's okay.
Just, I was so excited too. I was like, oh, I have a podcast recording today. It's gonna be so much fun. And then my world blew up. Okay, I remember now. Here we go. Let's start out over. These women you still live in the same town as these women.
Yeah, it's Rhode Island, same state.
Same state.
City bitty.
Yes. Okay, so Rhode Island isn't very big. Do you still see them? Do you run into each other, and what does that look like?
We've run into each other a handful of times. It's interesting because I don't think they understand the level of hurt involved. Because there's a beeline. I would rather get the heck out of Dodge, and they beeline for me and want to tell me how adorable my son is and what's going on. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you because you couldn't tell me what was wrong. And I'm not invited to anything.
Grocery store. You walk down an aisle. Homegirl decides she wants to walk down the same aisle, and she beelines for you and wants to bring up a conversation about how cute your son is, acting like nothing changed and you're at a water park.
Yeah.
What?
I don't understand. And that's what makes me go, did I misunderstand something? Because we were still running into each other between confrontations 1 and 2. And I'm going, did I miss something? Something is definitely off. And yet you're still acting like everything is normal. So what's wrong with my head?
I'm confused. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
And so again, I just can't. And the thing that gets me is the people who cut you out of your life, out of their lives like this, but then as soon as you see them in person, they want to know everything about your life. And they start asking these personal questions that you gave them access to at one point, but I'm going, you don't get access to that anymore.
No.
You can treat me like the acquaintance that we are anymore. You don't get to pretend that we have this history that you've cut out. So I don't have a solution for it. It's a very bizarre thing. I would prefer to just, like I said, move and not have to deal with it anymore.
So I'm guessing you keep that conversation very superficial in the sense that
I try to get
out.
Yeah.
Your son is fine. He's happy in school. The weather is gorgeous. Let me get out of here. I'm in a rush.
Yes. Wow.
And
the thing is, the same thing happens to my husband.
The balls.
I know. And my husband and I, he's everything. So I've had all these, he has sat there for all the tears. He has sat there through all the scripting of the confrontations. He's been there. He's heard some of the conversations. I'm like, hey, read this text thread. What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? What happened here that I'm missing? Because I don't trust my brain. I mean, we should never trust our brains or our memory, right? Our brain is always trying to fight against us. And so I want that sounding board. I need another set of eyes to say, what did I do wrong? And my husband's a saint, so that helps. He's always going to go, oh, he's not afraid to confront me and go, that you shouldn't say things that way. So he's been with me through all of this, and he sees it. Like if he's in the grocery store with me when we run into, he sees the same thing, and he's like, why do they think they get to ask that? Why do they think they get to go personal that way? And he's just, get out. It's not fair to you.
It is
it's
shocking that
rude.
They seem to think that they can go that personal after everything that has gone down.
Yeah. Are you delusional?
Kind of. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for you. I I'm also one,
Yeah.
I have a very expressive face. So if you were to come up to me and we're no longer friends and you're trying to chat me up, I would probably have a look being like, are you hot? Am I? What is going on here? Tell me, because I'm confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, man.
Yeah.
And your husband was friends with her husband.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to the same level.
Of course.
The women had different schedules. Our husbands all worked on normal schedules. And so if we were going to hang out, it was going to be everyone together, but we got to do more than they did. And so we were a little bit closer than the guys were. And also, guys' relationships are different.
Yes.
They just don't
Okay, yeah.
care.
Yes, definitely. Like I said, yeah.
It's just a whole other thing. Yeah. We host happy hour on Fridays at our house in the evening.
Oh, I love
and
that.
when it's nice outside, cigars, whiskey, chips and salsa, whoever wants to come. And it ends up mostly being guys. And it's so fun. I love sitting out. I tell my husband, I'm like, hey, you should invite this friend and this friend. They're all his friends. And I'm like, but we can all just hang out and chill. And it's so light and fun. And everyone goes home happy and still friends. And I'm like, just invite all the guys over, please. I just want to hang out with them.
Yeah, because it makes your life easier. You don't have to think about it, and they aren't going home, and you don't have to think about it. Have you built more friendships after this has gone down?
I'm working on it. When I gave up on the idea of I said, we just have to move. My husband's, that's not happening.
Listen, I'm with you. I would have been like, we're going to pack up our crap. It was fun.
Get the hell out of Dodge.
But yeah, it's time to get out of here.
There's a lot of cool places in our country. Let's go try a new one.
Yeah, exactly.
When I finally resigned to that fact, I was like, okay, there's more people in this state that I don't know. There's more people in my town that I have not met. I do have a child now, so that helps in finding people. I even got on Bumble for a little while to find some girlfriends.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, and I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna have to make a conscious choice to double down on where I live and find some people here, because I'm a people person. I'm an extrovert. I want people to be able to come over for happy hour or to grill or whatever it's going to be. We have a very open home. So I've just decided we're gonna have to do that. And you know what? I met some people on the beach this summer. Some people were just friendly with my son, and so we started talking, and we met at the beach a couple more times, and just reminding myself to get out there and go, I just need to ask to exchange phone numbers. If I feel like there's any kind of a connection, invite them to dinner, do something to start finding some newer connections. But you do have to make a conscious effort to do that. And because I moved so much, I knew how to do that at one time. And I'm just a little rusty because I've actually been here for 9 years.
No, it's totally fair. And I think it's also harder, right? As we get old, it's so much easier when you're stuck in a classroom for 8 hours.
Sure.
And then now doing that as an adult, even if you're stuck in the same workplace, it's still very difficult to make friends. Yeah, I am definitely with you.
And every culture is different too. And whether that's country to country or state or cities, for example, Rhode Island is very much this little bitty club. People come, they never leave, their entire families are here, and you really have to break into it. Otherwise, you're not in my club that I've grown up with forever. And it takes significant work. And I've known enough people who have moved to Rhode Island. We call ourselves the transplants. We got to chisel away at these walls that people have and show them that I'm worth letting in. And it's not that way everywhere. If you go down southern US, people are just open doors. They just want to welcome everybody with open arms. And it's just not that way here. So you've got to gauge where you are and learn how to navigate that as well.
Right. Oh, I love that. I love that you've given us some insight into how to navigate that. I also love that you've been putting yourself out there a little bit more. Are you going to continue to put yourself out there a little bit more and hopefully build some new connections? And how will this look in the new connections? You start feeling a little burnt? And you don't have to, we can cut this out if you're not comfortable.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I have actively been working to make those new connections. Yeah. And I will say, if somebody hasn't built that skill before, if you haven't moved and had to find new people, just go get involved in things, whatever it is that you're interested in. In fact, when I first moved here, I was trying to find people. We joined a church. I joined a book club. I joined a volleyball team. Now this looks a little bit different. I'm joining homeschool groups for my son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking, he's in soccer and wrestling, and we're looking at dance classes, and I'm actively making sure I'm not buried in a book and instead talking to the other parents and trying to get to know them and which kid is theirs. You have to be very intentional with those things, getting yourself out there.
Right.
But you just have to do it. Just sign up for the thing, whatever it's going to
Yeah.
be. So you said, yes, I'm actively out there. I'm making those connections. As far as, I don't know that I've learned anything new. It's just, again, that level of maturity and trying to
Yeah.
gauge that. And for me, it's just taking time to discern that level of vulnerability with people.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to gauge, if I'm going to go to this level, it's going to equal that level of hurt if it goes sideways. And
Yeah.
am I willing, is this person worth that right now?
Yeah.
Being able to determine that. And again, anytime you open yourself to anybody, that's a possibility.
When you were in, I'm just taking a step back for a second, when you were in the thick of the downfall, we'll call it at the moment, did you have a moment where you were like, why does this feel like I'm just repeating what happened in 7th grade? Why is this so difficult for?
Yeah, because you think,
Yeah.
I thought we were past this. Are we not all old enough? Can we
Yeah.
not have mature conversations? And the reality is no, because most people are not taught that. Most people are not taught how to handle confrontation well and how to be honest. Heck, that's probably why marriages are 50% in divorce,
Mm-hmm.
because
We're
we
not,
can't communicate.
no,
We're not taught that.
no. I can teach you how
In
to do
fact,
my
I think I
taxes,
was,
though.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Super useful for my day to day.
In fact, I think my parents taught us how to communicate better than they actually do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. My mother's not a very good, she was a lovely woman, but not good at communication. No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But same as they said, you have to confront the situation. They don't always do that with each other,
No.
but they made me do it with these others' relationships. So
Right.
I learned how to do that. And I do have a very strong personality. So I am very careful with how I speak to people. I am very careful with my tone of voice and exactly which words I'm going to use, because I can bulldoze people. I know
Right.
that. The other thing I've learned is I need strong people so that I can be who I am and they're not
Mhm.
going to, for example, my husband is he's very, I love the term meek for him.
Right.
It doesn't mean like he's a pushover, but instead it's a quiet strength that rises up when he needs to. And I can't bulldoze him. He will let whatever needs to happen, and then he will put me in my place when necessary. He will be that sounding wall, and I can push up against it, and it's not going to fall down. It's not going to crumble. And I've realized, just like that gal I did confront, and she said, "Tell me how to fix it." I was like, "Oh, this is a strength that I can maintain. I can be friends with this. This can continue this way."
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love I love your story, because I think that a lot of women are just going to resonate with not only the grade 7 you version and that story, but also I don't think that changes as we get older. I know me personally, I went through the same thing again recently, and you keep thinking to yourself, you're like, how did I get in myself this in again? I thought I learned the first time. Clearly I didn't. Yeah. And you're right
But
about
what
the
it comes down
vulnerability.
to, we can't control other people. That's what it
No,
comes down
it's
to.
true.
You can only
It's
control
true.
yourself. And so it could
Yeah.
always happen again.
I know. And I guess you just hope that a part of you has learned a little bit more to be able to see those signs, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any final words for us while we venture in onto our new journeys of building stronger friendships and hopefully avoiding some landmines?
I would just say it's not worth giving up. It's not worth resigning yourself to not having community. It might take some burnt bridges and some broken hearts, but you need to find your people. And some people are only going to be there for a season, and it hurts like hell, but maybe they were
True.
just, they had a purpose and a season in your life. But press on and keep searching.
Oh, I love that. Where can people find you on socials?
Yeah, my Instagram is Kylie_N_Robinson. So that's the best place to follow me.
Amazing. And final question, Kylie, before we wrap up, what's your favorite coffee order?
I don't drink coffee.
Don't worry. You know what's funny? So many of my guests come on here. The last question when I throw that in, honestly, about a good like 60% of the guests have been like, yeah, I don't drink coffee.
No way.
Yeah. And I laugh about it because
funny.
And listen, all I wanted to do was have these conversations and make it sound like it was two women catching up in a quote unquote coffee shop. But no, I'm learning maybe I need to change my final question. Can't be, what do you drink tea?
That's funny.
Okay, if we were at a coffee shop, how about this? If we were at a coffee shop, what would your order be?
The coffee shop I like to go to has a protein shake I love.
Ooh,
so I will do that. But right now I usually get myself 1 gallon of apple cider in the fall, and it's making me so happy right now.
Perfect time to have apple cider. Okay, I will totally agree to the apple cider for sure. Oh, now I might actually go and try to get one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kylie. I loved our conversation, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, Kylie, for joining me here on Share a Latte and sharing your candid insights on your friendship breakups. Just like the perfect cup of coffee, this conversation was a blend of warmth, vulnerability, and a dash of resilience. Until next time, my latte besties, may your coffee be strong, your friendships be stronger, and may every sip bring you one step closer to understanding the intricate tapestries of life. I hope that this episode inspired you and you take bigger steps in creating that beautiful life that you've always wanted. If today's episode warmed your heart, please hit that subscribe button and stay with us for future journeys. If you enjoyed the chat today, your thoughts and feedback mean the world to me, and they'll help others discover the magic of Share a Latte. Each story enriches our journey. Remember, you can turn trials into triumphs and scars into stars. Keep believing and keep chasing those beautiful dreams. This is Min taking her last sip from the Share a Latte podcast, where life happens and coffee helps.